There is a number that changes how you think about money permanently. It is not $1 million. It is not even close to $1 million. It is $100,000. And the reason it changes everything is not because of what it buys you. It does not buy you very much, honestly, but because of what it does mathematically once it is sitting in an investment account and compounding. At $100,000 invested at a 9% average annual return, your portfolio grows by $9,000 in a single year without you adding a single cent. $9,000. Without working. Without deciding. Without doing anything at all except having arrived at that number and left it alone. That is why the journey from $0 to $100,000 is the most important financial journey most people will ever take, and also the one that almost nobody explicitly teaches from start to finish. This video is that blueprint. The complete map from $0 to $100,000 in an investment portfolio. What to do first, what to do next, what the math actually looks like at each stage, and, most importantly, what the experience feels like so that you do not quit during the parts that are designed by mathematics to feel the most discouraging. Let us start at 0. 0 is not a shameful starting point. 0 is the universal starting point. Every person who has ever built real wealth started at 0, and the only meaningful difference between the people who reached $100,000 and the people who did not is not intelligence or income or luck. It is the presence or absence of a repeatable system applied consistently over time. The first step of the blueprint is establishing your monthly investment number. This is not the number you wish you could invest. It is the number you can commit to every single month for the next several years without exceptions. For some people that number is $200. For others it is $800. The specific amount matters far less than the consistency of it. A person investing $200 a month for 10 years will build more wealth than a person investing $1,000 a month for 2 years and then stopping. Consistency defeats amount every time when compounding is the mechanism at work. Once you have your number, the second step is automation. Your monthly investment must move from your paycheck to your brokerage account before you have any opportunity to spend it. This is not a discipline strategy. This is a system design strategy. Human willpower is finite and unreliable. Automatic transfers are not. Remove the decision from the equation by making the investment happen before your checking account ever sees the money. The third step is vehicle selection, and I want to keep this as simple as possible because complexity is the enemy of consistency. You do not need to pick stocks. You do not need to analyze companies. You do not need a financial advisor to manage a portfolio of individual securities. You need two things: a low-cost total market index fund that gives you exposure to the entire US stock market, and optionally a dividend-focused ETF that begins generating passive income even in the early stages when the amounts are small. Buy these two vehicles automatically every month. Do not change them. Do not replace them with something more exciting. Do not sell them when the market drops. Now let me walk you through what the blueprint actually produces at each stage, because the map is useless without the terrain description. From $0 to $10,000 is the first phase. At $200 a month it takes approximately 4 years. At $500 a month it takes roughly 18 months. At this stage, your dividends are negligible and your portfolio growth feels almost invisible. This is the phase where most people abandon the blueprint. Not because it is not working, it is working exactly as designed, but because it does not feel like it is working. The key insight for surviving this phase is understanding that you are not just building a portfolio. You are building the behavioral infrastructure of a wealth builder. The habit, the automation, the monthly ritual of investing regardless of market conditions. These are the real outputs of phase 1. And they are worth more than the dollar amount in your account. From $10,000 to $50,000 is phase 2. This is where the math begins to shift noticeably. At around $25,000, your annual investment returns start to rival your annual contributions. The portfolio begins carrying some of its own weight. Dividend income climbs from negligible to meaningful, not life-changing, but enough to cover a real recurring expense each month. This phase tests patience in a different way. The progress is visible enough to be encouraging, but slow enough to still feel frustrating. The correct response is to keep the automation running and resist any urge to accelerate by taking on more risk. From $50,000 to $100,000 is phase 3. And this is where compounding stops being a concept and starts being an experience. The portfolio gains in a single strong market year can exceed your total annual contributions. Your dividend income begins approaching a level that covers multiple monthly expenses. The snowball has enough mass now that it generates meaningful momentum with every rotation. Many people describe reaching the $80,000 to $90,000 range as the first moment they genuinely believed in the system, not because they were told to believe in it, but because the numbers in front of them made belief impossible to avoid. Crossing $100,000 for the first time is a quiet event. There is no ceremony. Your phone does not send you a notification. The number simply appears on your portfolio dashboard one morning, and you sit with it for a moment before closing the laptop and going about your day. But internally, something has shifted. Because you now understand, from direct personal experience, that the system works. And more importantly, you understand that if you simply continue doing what you have been doing, the next 100,000 will arrive faster than the first. Because the base is larger. Because the compounding has more material to work with. Because the snowball is now genuinely rolling. Here is your blueprint in its simplest form. Decide your monthly number. Automate the transfer. Buy a total market index fund and a dividend ETF. Do not stop. Do not time the market. Do not get distracted by anything faster or more exciting. And do not underestimate the power of surviving the phases that feel the slowest, because those are exactly the phases that make everything that comes after them possible. The blueprint nobody teaches is not complicated. It was never complicated. The reason it goes untaught is not that it is secret. It is that it is boring. And boring does not sell courses or generate clicks or build personal brands. But boring, applied consistently over time, builds $100,000 in an investment portfolio. And that is the only outcome this blueprint was ever designed to produce.